Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. This is a new tarot spread that I'm going to experiment with. It doesn't have any real specific layout per se. It's kind of designed around a couple major things. Mostly the number 8 for me is very specific and significant to my style and magical identity. The number 8, 88 specifically. And it is also in the shape of the 8-pointed sphere of chaos, which I've experimented with chaos magic. I am a Thelemite, and I subscribe to the ideology of Thelema for a number of reasons, which I'll get into at some point, I'm sure. But I have experimented with chaos magic, and I very much dig a lot of Peter Carroll's work. A couple ways to look at it, I suppose, would be to start and look at it in Docile, and then look at it Witterchins, and then look at opposing concepts, and to just look at the cards that I turn over as I'm speaking. And it is just a generic revealing to myself, for the future, that I can watch back and hopefully find some sort of significance in it anyway. And just generic meditation, right? So I am back in my condo. I have my water cleaner going. This is when pretty much I have one of those in this room, and I live like this for half my life out of a suitcase because I fly up to work. So I'll be up here for the next 2 weeks. Share the apartment with another fella who hasn't made it here yet. It's tough to come up here, but one of the good things about coming up here is that it allows me to lock into a routine, because I have so little personal space, so little private time, and so little free time. I go and lock myself into a specific routine, and I'm pretty much committed to staying with that. The routine I'm specifically locking myself into is my eating, my intermittent fasting. I've been trying to lose weight for a long time, and I had a 3-month stint up here, well, back and forth up here, where I was only eating 1 meal a day, and that meal became more and more conservative as time went on, and I lost a fair amount of weight. I haven't been weighing myself because I find weighing myself can be just torturous, and over the last 3 months, I feel that I've gone from uncomfortably obese to unremarkably fat, which doesn't sound great, but when you're in that state, it's a significant improvement. So yeah, I last time I was at work, I was really planning on going home and throwing a huge house party. My wife and myself and our kids moved into this big house in the middle of the pandemic, and we were locked down there for last year. Floating restrictions, floating lockdowns, just a nightmare mess. And the restrictions opened the last time I was home, so I had this big house party planned. Right? And when I got home, I reminded everybody, we between my wife and I, we invited probably 30 some odd people. And at the night of the party, which was shortly after I got home, everybody bailed. Almost 100% of everybody bailed. Just between not wanting to come, fear of COVID, whatever, you know how it goes. But the only people who did actually show up were our cousins. My cousin, her cousin, my mom, my sister, brother-in-law, nieces. It was my family that came through, who we had seen through the pandemic against the bylaws the whole time anyway. So that me preparing to eat or have some relaxing time and drinks and eats for this party just totally threw me off. And I spent the last 2 weeks at home totally off my wagon, totally off my intermittent fasting routine, no exercise, just eating, not blatantly like gluttonous eating, but nowhere near my routine and my intermittent fasting, what I had been doing, right? So I'm back here. It kind of helped me though, because with the people not coming and the intermittent fasting falling apart, it was kind of a bit of a reflection to myself about the things that are important, specifically these ideas that we get in our heads about, I don't know, you just make up these things like, I'm going to have this wicked party, or I'm going to buy this wicked that, or I'm going to do this wicked this, or get this wicked that. And when you finally get it, the majority of the time, these things just become so lackluster, like pure will, unassuaged of purpose, or excuse me, unassuaged of result is in every way perfect, right? So it kind of tuned me in, and it really geared me back up into my magic, like the things that are important to me. And what's important to me is my magical practice and my personal development and refining myself and building myself up for my family, right? So, the other thing about falling off the wagon that I was just kind of, I had a shot, I got cleaned up as soon as I got into this apartment, made my amend, or did a little bit of make and mend, got my groceries, made my meal for tomorrow, which, really quick, I'll show you what I made. I cleaned the water up here because the tap water is just deplorable. And what I've been eating is, I just make potatoes and then just fry a whole bunch of vegetables on top. And then I make a sauce with coconut milk, nutritional yeast, and then I season that with whatever spices of the day, whatever. And I ate that once a day, just that meal right there. That's what I ate once at the exact same time of day for 3 straight months. I ate that exact same meal. And I had significant weight loss, and I didn't do any exercise. So, sorry, because I went and showed that, I kind of lost my track of what I was talking. Oh, I know. You take these times where you fall off the wagon and you get down on yourself and all this, but sometimes you need to come up for a breath of air. And I'm not saying that just falling off the wagon and turning into a piece of shit is like a breath of fresh air, but it's just giving yourself some slack for a moment before you dive back in for another burst of work. It's like the strokes while you're swimming, or even if you want to look at it as a aspect of personal growth, or getting your shit together, like an addict going to rehab, and they say that like relapse is a part of the process of rehabilitation, and I am not going to beat myself up because I was doing so well and fell apart. You know what? You fall apart, take your breath, recalibrate what it is you're doing, get your feet firmly back on the ground, take another deep breath, and spring back into it, and just keep going and try and do a better one than you did last time, right? What else can you do? You just keep on going. Well, I never want to really go any longer than 10 minutes. I don't even go longer than 5 or 6 minutes, so I'll leave it at that. Love is the law, love under will.